There everybody, Brett from Love Bets and the Belfry back for another video. I wanted to do a quick video on a movie I watched last night on Peacock called Night Swim. And I had pretty much heard not very good things about it, but my wife wanted to watch it, so I figured we'd check it out. And I was like, you know what, I can at least do a little review on it. You get what you expect out of this movie. This movie is about basically a haunted swimming pool. The first thing I thought of when starting up this movie was that episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? I think it was called The Tale of the Dead Man's Float, and that was about basically this haunted swimming pool in this school. Yeah, it is basically a haunted swimming pool. It's like this body of water that was considered like this sacred thing, and like all these people basically died drowning in it. And over a long period of time, it eventually turned into a house which ended up becoming a swimming pool, and a number of people went missing from the swimming pool. It sounds so ridiculous describing this, and it's funny, Wyatt Russell, who is Kurt Russell's son, is in this movie, and that was my first thought. I was like, man, Wyatt, you are so much better than this movie. Honestly, it's funny watching this movie because it's a Blumhouse movie, and if you're a Blumhouse fan, I will say you might get some enjoyment out of this movie. If I'm defending this movie in any sort of way, I have seen much worse than this. I mean, based on an acting standpoint, this movie is not that bad. Some of the scares are pretty terrible. I found myself just laughing at a lot of stuff throughout this movie. This family moves into this home. Dad is an ex-baseball player who had an injury to his leg. And things kind of start going better for them ever since they move into this house and start using this pool. The dad, with this leg injury, he starts swimming more and more every day, and his body basically makes this miracle recovery due to just this haunted swimming pool. But throughout this movie, there's just, a lot of jump scares, things that just really aren't that scary. I will say there were a couple moments where it didn't show a lot of the creatures or the people that were in, the ghosts of this swimming pool. It didn't really show them too much, which I think is always to a horror movie's advantage, is less is more. And it did that for a little while. It was towards the end where you were getting a better look at a lot of these people and creatures and all the spookiness, and it definitely lost its impact. Not that it really had much of an impact to begin with. I mean, it came out this year, but I see myself by the end of this coming year, when thinking about of all the new horror films that came out this year, I might forget about this one. It's really not much to it. It's typical not very good horror by the end of it. But spoilers. I mean, if you want to watch this, just go watch it, but spoilers. But the dad ends up sacrificing himself at the end of this movie. And it's funny because he was getting possessed by this haunted swimming pool of not being himself and trying to sacrifice one of his kids to it. And then the end of the movie, with the confrontation and them being in the swimming pool and just how all of it unfolds, it's I feel like they did the best they possibly could with it. It just wasn't that engaging. The kids and the mom end up bringing the dad back to his non-possessed self, and so he pukes up all this black goo, and then they go to get away from the swimming pool and go back in the house, and the son ends up starting to get possessed, and they're it's not letting him leave, and so the dad's just it needs a sacrifice, and I'm like, your family just literally saved your life, and then you're going to sacrifice yourself. So it was the dude literally just came back to his actual self, and then he was like, nope, got to go back in and give myself to, this haunted swimming pool. It is funny, it kind of played on the whole, oh, why don't you just move? The mom was like, well, that's not what dad would want. So they literally, just get a construction crew to come in, and then they emptied the swimming pool and then fill it up with dirt and sand. And I was like, you guys could have done that the beginning of the movie. But anyways, this is not a very good one. And also, it's just one of those where It's almost like an hour and 40 minutes. You honestly could have shaved off like 20 minutes of this movie and it would not have made a lick of difference with the pacing. It's funny, just like some of the things that they were just exploring in the movie, they didn't really explore enough. And then the things that they kind of like, spread out or spread thin, it was like, yeah, you could have shaved off like 10 minutes of that. Trying to establish like the daughter of the family and the son of the family, and like the daughter doing, being the teenager, being like, oh, my parents are, not home. And then she invites like her boyfriend over to go swimming. And then that's where, a big scary moment happens. And then the son comes out and, tells his sisters like, mom and dad are home. Like, and then so boyfriend leaves and is like, I'll see you at the pool party Saturday. And then it goes to the pool party scene. And then something happens to the dad and like the dad's friend's son that are in the pool, and they have both of them like almost drown out of like this whole thing. And like the boyfriend's there, and then the boyfriend just kind of goes like swimming with like two other girls and then is just never to be seen again. So it's one of those, it's like you were trying to like flesh out things, but then it didn't go anywhere from there. So it was just kind of funny, just the direction the movie was going in. It's not like the worst thing yet I've ever seen, but you're not missing anything. You can definitely tell this did not have really any soul to it whatsoever. Like you were like, oh yeah, they were here to make a quick buck. What could we do that hasn't been done like to death? Oh, haunted swimming pool, let's do it. So yeah, I'm just going to wrap it up there. That was my review of Night Swim. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in a future video. Bye.